Hello, I'm Ashley Applegate and welcome. We're at KWI on the couch. Today we're joined by Josh Yates. Josh, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Ohio.
So looking at schools all over America, you decided to venture from your home state where there are some reputable schools. What made you decide to move to Kentucky and choose KWI?
My grandpa had a friend, and his grandson came down here, and he was come back home with a bunch of money in his pocket and was all talk about it, so I figured it'd be something to try out.
Okay, so a former student was successful and sort of changed your mind and got you coming down here. Well, that's good. Word of mouth always helps, you know. Looking at your previous history before KWI, did you weld before you got here?
Yeah, I welded throughout high school and stuff, sophomore all the way to senior, and then actually got my first welder when I was 13 and kind of took it and ran, I guess.
All right, so you've been welding for several years then. What was that first welder?
It was a little Lincoln 140. Plug it right into your 110 outlet.
Okay.
And take it away.
All right. Well, hey, anybody knows me knows I bleed blue, so you know you should have opted for a Miller. But my first welder was actually Dad's old Lincoln Buzz box too, that I inherited. So did you pick this up on your own, or did a family member show you how to weld in the beginning, or what?
I had a couple family friends that did a little bit, just shop welders, kind of farm welders, I'd say. Nothing compared to like what we do here, but
yeah,
they could stick metal together.
So the first time you welded for somebody else with your machine, even during high school or before KWI, were you nervous at all that weld might break and they may not come back, or they might frown on you?
Yeah, there's always that, chance there, but if you know halfway what you're doing, I guess, but never really went in depth with the welds or anything like that. Never had them bent like they do down here or for certs or anything like that. You just kind of welded, and if it looked good, you left it, and if not, grind it out and do it again,
right.
I guess.
I guess you're always your first QC.
Right.
Before the QC or CWI gets there, you got to decide, hey, is this a keeper or are we going to make that repair?
Right.
But you mentioned the nerves. 6 months at KWI, did that nervousness ever go away, or is it still there when it's time to tack up the test?
It's still kind of there a little bit. You always, especially driving to all these jobs, you spend hundreds of dollars into the thousands getting to places if they're far enough away, and you don't want to go all the way out there just to bust a test,
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think it's important that you take every test in stride and make sure, if you're not nervous about that particular weld test for that company or that school or that certification, then it may not mean as much to you. I think everybody has a little bit of importance, especially in today's hot job market.
Right.
If you were looking at a bucket list of jobs, what would we probably say is Josh's favorite job, and if this comes available, I'm going to apply for that?
I'd say pipelining. Right now the work's pretty slim. All the guys that are good are on those pipeline jobs, and then the other rig welders that weren't top notch the best, they've got all the other rig welding jobs taken up, so it's kind of the point, what do you do right now? You just kind of plant work and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So you started out with that little Miller 140. What have you graduated to now? What are you dragging around in the back of your truck?
I got a Miller Big 20. It's an old machine, but it'll weld.
Okay. So brand doesn't matter. It's always about the person, right? No matter what the machine is, you can make a good weld.
Well, I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Been welding with the Lincolns every now and again, and they don't seem to run as well as the Millers for some reason. But
okay. So if you had to, choose your favorite job, we know it's that pipeline job. If you had to choose your dream machine to put in the back of your truck, what's it going to be?
Probably Pipe Pro 400.
Okay. So sweet machines. Again, I think any machine is offered. Awesome. Does a great job. At KWI, different machines, different variety. What'd you have there?
I had all their machines inside where you had a couple booths for your wire fed and all your MIG and flux and stuff. There's a couple Lincolns and Millers, and then for all your inside booths, they were just straight stick weld machines, and obviously you could TIG off of them. But outside, they had a classic 300 and a couple Lincoln Rangers and Miller Bobcats. So there's a good variety of stuff out there. You can kind of pick and choose on what you like and what you don't, better things about machines and
Okay.
whatnot.
So you mentioned outside. You work out there once or every day, or what happens outside at KWI?
The instructors, I think, if they kind of see you got the hang of the inside, they want to challenge you a little bit or something, maybe they'll put you out in the boiler or have you welding in the dirt on jack stands. But boiler room's pretty tough to weld in there sometimes because the floor shakes, and you guys build it that way so you get a little bit more realistic and stuff. But
Yeah. So some people listening may not understand what a boiler room is. So give us the 20-foot view. What's this thing look like? What are we talking about?
it's just basically a small house. It's got boiler walls all the way around it, and guys towards their end or whatever, if they're getting up there and they're wanting to go be a boiler maker and boiler houses and whatnot, they'll cut out the side walls and stuff and put them back in and weld in new and stuff. But
yeah. So and I'm sure that's something you only do on nice weather days when it's like 75 degrees and there's no wind or anything.
Nope, they'll throw you right out there when it's snowing, raining sideways on you, 10 degrees, throw you out there. It's how the field's going to be, so they're trying to set you up for success and get you doing it here. So
yeah, that's right. So all your metal prep, or you got to prep all that yourself?
no, you prep all that yourself. I think it's better it's done that way. You go to some of these other schools and they're just handing it to you. You're not learning how to bevel pipe and even hand bevel it. You're not learning how to do any of that here. You're getting kind of like a well-rounded. You can go right into the field and get your pipe fit up and then go ahead and weld it out. So
All right, good deal. Credentials from KWI, how many certifications?
I've got 7. Yep, that's what I graduated with.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So 7 certifications. Is there any special award or anything you got for that?
Yeah, they reward you. It's a golden arm. I think it's pretty cool how they do it because some of your last certs you can choose from. I don't want to say last because you can work as hard as you want while you're here and get whatever you want. It's just all up to you, but you get that. The course has 6, and then you pick one being your 7th, and then if you get that 7th, they give you a golden arm hood, and I think it's pretty cool because it's nothing you can go out and buy. You earned it.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else you want to add? Anything specific, such as what would you tell a student who's sitting in small town Ohio and they're thinking about welding school? Well, why would you tell them to look at KWI?
I mean, just well-rounded all the way around. You can go to the other weld schools where they're handing you stuff left and right and not really making you work for it as much. And I mean, it feels good to get out there and prep that pipe and then go in there and weld it out. And if you put a good weld in it, you're like, I did this all the way through. It was just a chunk of pipe first, so you can go out there and do it in the field. Yeah. So I think they're just teaching a lot more and a lot of other certifications other than just welding. I mean, you got the rigger and signal NCCO in the shop or in the classroom, stuff like that. You're getting more than just weld. I heard of guys going out and getting $3-4 more on the hour just because of that rigger and signal card. So
yeah, was that hard to get, rigorous training?
It was pretty tough. I mean, it's nothing you want to slack off on. You want to go home and study it and stuff like that. It's definitely not something you're just going to breeze by.
Okay. Was there a whole lot of homework or just a little bit once in a while?
You do 2 sets of it, and they're normally about a week long. The first week's your practice, and then the second week's a practice. But then at the end of that week, you go out and take your test. And I mean, coming home at night and doing this stuff for those 2 weeks, it's 3 or 4 hours a night studying it and whatnot. Yeah. So
well, hopefully that gets you prepared for those jobs that may include welding and rigging to go along with that.
Right.
Well, thanks guys for tuning in. Today we've been talking with Josh Yates, KWI on the couch. Thanks, Josh, for visiting with us today.
Thank you.